What's up? Now it's the vibrate. Y'all know what it is. Matter of fact, out here hanging by the state, or the old state capitol. It's one of those songs say we down by the river. I like that old Negro spiritual. I was born by the river in a little tent. I ain't gonna lie though, brother. The people, well, I don't know if the people sung that song, but just that energy of that song, they'll be happy to, see the changes that's being made right now. Catching a little vibe, sitting with self, this Virgo energy, understanding that most of the shit that seems like it's hard to deal with is just mental fucking noise. Like, in most cases, anything that you may feel like it's something to worry about or anything of that nature, it's usually something that's not present in your now moment. It's usually some type of thought about the past or worrying about what could happen in the future, but in most cases it's never in your now moment. What's up, Unveiled 17? Excuse me. Fact, been doing some much needed continuous shadow work. In fact, shout out to Till Swan. But like really sitting down and understanding like integration, and with anything always looking at it from the aspect of the law of correspondence, and from a perspective of like if my bodysuit was like a universe or like a realm of existence, and how I'm consciously governing my bodysuit, what I'm saying, is a personification of like source or God, however you want to say it, but like how source in essence will govern the universe, what I'm saying. So how we deal with our mind, body, and soul, it's like that same perspective, and realizing like again, that's another thing, getting into short-term and long-term use goals, for lack of a better word, but like just the short-term energy versus the long-term energy. And something I had to realize where, I got into a space of, for one, first off, getting a little mixed up with, like just a little, I lost my way just a little bit with the aspect of doing what I feel, or doing what feels right. And I would always use this as advice, and that's what helped me as the advice I would always share, or just say, not say advice, I don't like the word magic of add advice, but I would always share, like, after you do something, do the journal work or be aware of the outcome, and that'll let you know if that was, what was best. But realizing, our emotions is a compass, but it's not for us to follow, like, the example of, let's just say, like, again, we following what feels right in the moment. But let's just say I know I need to, like, great example, I know I need to finish my website. But part of me don't feel like doing it. So should I say, oh, well, I don't feel like doing it, so I'm going to just go with what feels, what's going to make me happy in the moment, and not work on my website? And it's like, all right, if I do that, I realize that's just pleasing the short-term me. The long-term me is, and that's where later on, from continuously dodging doing that task or doing what feels good, you know, in a sense of like, all right, I'm not going to do it because it feels better to not do it. You know, you start to realize that if you come across a certain level of sadness or, you know, or even depression, if you let it go too long, that's because you haven't been satisfying the long-term you. You know what I'm saying? The part of you that, you know, that has long-term requirements or plans, so to speak, you know. Because you ever notice, like, if you ever did something where it felt like strenuous in the moment, like a great example is probably like, you know, and not getting into the aspect of, oh, that's the system or the matrix and none of that shit, you know, not being that spiritual or deep on that level, but just in just the general sense of it, it's like if you had to go to the DMV, you know what I'm saying, and like sitting through that line at DMV, bro, we all know, like, bro, fuck that shit, like, bro, nobody feel like doing that. But when you, after you sit through that line and you get your license or whatever it is that you were sitting that line for, bro, you could cut 1,000 backflips. You know, that shit feels great. You know what I'm saying? And I realized that it's like, all right, I've been allowing myself to, you know, tell myself, all right, I'm going to do what feels best or feels right, but not realizing it was, again, like that short-term aspect that was only getting satisfied. And I wouldn't allocate this just to the sacral chakra per se, because I feel like with anything, like with the law of polarity, you know, there would be a long-term energy and a short-term energy. I feel like that would exist for each chakra, you know, like, you know, the root chakra has something in short-term that was like satisfied and something in long-term it would like satisfy. Sacral chakra is something in short-term, you know, and something in long-term, and on up, you know, to solar plexus, heart chakra, throat chakra, you know, so on. But just paying attention to it, you know, in essence, you know, that part of our being that really looks for, you know, the instant results, the microwave results, in essence is kind of attached to, you know, the sacral chakra in the sense of like, you know, the sensual expressions or the senses, you know, like things that have to do with, you know, I think about, you know, sexual energy, you know what I'm saying, like that instant, like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying, but it might not be possible nothing down the line, like, yeah, like an instant gratification or instant pleasure, but it doesn't fulfill the long-term goals. Like, you got what you got out of it just now, but it's nothing more than just that, you know what I'm saying? And again, not to make it exclusively to the sacral chakra, but it definitely, you know, swims strongly in that area, you know, as far as, again, like dealing with pleasures and stuff like that, you know, the pleasures of food with the taste buds. And no coincidence, and I remember doing a video a while back, like joking on myself about, like, whenever, you know, like eating late at night, you know what I'm saying, like eating late at night or just eating a lot of like taste good foods, you know, if you're doing that a lot, but especially at night, you know what I'm saying, in most cases it's probably because you're not having sex or you're not having sensual experiences, you know what I'm saying, so you're replacing not having sex or sensual experiences by, you know, eating certain foods that give you that, ooh, like, you know, you taste that food or that. That's why pizza, you know, and matter of fact, I remember Erykah Badu bringing it up one time jokingly, you know, she was like, she was on her moon cycle, you know, aka period, or, you know, whatever terminologies, you know, women use, or slang terminologies, all that good stuff. But she was like, you know, she was on a period, and she was like, you know, this is the time where I eat a lot more breads and stuff like that, you know, and even realizing again, like, because I remember being in Venice, you know, and just some moments would just call for like a you know, whether it was a vegan pizza or not, but for sure we'll try to make it vegan pizza. But long story short, you know, for a pizza, because of a pizza got like that chewy, you know, like to be able to chew like you're feeling that energy, you know what I'm saying? Like when you chewing on something soft like a bread or something like that, it's like, you know, it's like you know, it might sound crazy to some, but it is like getting a hug from a, don't take, I don't want to be offensive in the way I express this, but you know, let's just say it's like getting a hug from somebody soft. We ain't gonna bring up size or nothing like that. We ain't gonna say big or small, but let's just say it's like getting a hug from somebody soft, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's like getting a hug from somebody soft. You know, so when you eating that pizza, you chewing that shit, the softness of that chew is creating like a, you know, like a, it's pleasing a sense, you know what I'm saying? So, again, in that quick moment, not to go too far off, again, short-term, long-term aspects, you know, it seems like the short-term pleasing of the senses has more to do with the sacral chakra area. And again, man, check out my, if you just look up universal frequencies in Sacral, S-A-C-R-A-L, or just our universal frequencies, sacral chakra, you know, you'll see one of the videos I did a while back where I was like, you know, a lot of the subconscious programming and emotional, or should I say, excuse me, social engineering is geared towards, you know, attacking our sacral chakra. And in essence, you know, again, the sacral chakra is tapped in with the emotions, it's tapped in with the water. No coincidence, the symbol for the sacral chakra is the moon. And in essence, the sacral chakra is more so the center of sexual energy for the women more than men. You know, I would say the men one is more so in the root, but still in the sacral too, you know what I'm saying? But it's definitely, again, because the woman's sexual energy is a little bit higher, you know, in the sense of like our, you know, the phallus, your testicles, all that is like hanging out your body, kind of closer to the root. You know, with the women, it's kind of internal, so a little bit higher, closer to their navel in essence, you know. But, where I was going at with the sacral chakra, oh yeah, and just again, like that, its connection with emotions, and, you know, and in essence, our magic, because again, if you notice, like with manifestation, you know, anybody who has a strong level of, you know, and we all manifest on different levels, but, you know, however our manifestation abilities fluctuate, you know what I'm saying, or is maintained on a steady level, you know, has to deal with our, in essence, our relationship with our sexual energy, you know, because again, like the two most shadow, like, you know, areas that in essence are like shadow aspects within people are dealing with sexual energy and money. And what the shadow aspect is, and it's cleared up too, shadow aspect doesn't mean dark in the sense of like evil, like this is the evil dark side of you. No, from the psychological aspect of it, you know, the shadow aspect is simply for the first 7 years of your development, you know what I'm saying? The first 7 years of your development, you know, you was raised by your environment, parents, guardians, neighborhood, school system, whatever, or lack thereof. But regardless, first 7 years of your development, you saw things or developed a sense of a perception of like, oh, this behavior right here, this is unacceptable behavior, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, whether somebody told us it was unacceptable straight up, or we just realized like, all right, the majority of people in society shun this energy, you know, so I'm going to keep it on the hush too, you know what I'm saying? So literally a shadow is created, you know, where this part of you that's a, you know, a common part of you, you know what I'm saying, you push to the side as bad, because again, nothing is completely bad or completely good. There's a positive and negative to everything. Even sunlight and water has a positive and negative to it, you know what I'm saying? Even a crystal has a positive and negative to it. Like, oh, this beautiful rose quartz, it's so beautiful. But what if I use it to throw it at you? You know what I'm saying? It ain't so beautiful then. You know what I'm saying? But but getting back to it, what was I? Oh, with the shadow work. So again, the shadow work is just what's acceptable, or what, again, like what was pushed to the side is, oh, this is, unacceptable. And this is acceptable, you know what I'm saying? So again, with money and, sex, those are things that, get pushed aside and deemed as bad, again, whether we was taught straight up like this is bad, or we just kind of watched the way society moved on the situation where they treated, or a lot of us grew up in religions that shun our sexual energy, And again, as I bring this up, this doesn't mean, you gotta go just have sex all willy-nilly, you know what I'm saying? At the same time, it's like, all right, certain aspects of our being are naturally a certain way for a reason. Like a woman could have orgasm or orgasmic tremors up to an hour long. You know what I'm saying? I don't think our body, was created in that manner so a woman could be a nun and shut, all of that down. Now, through our experience with being in this earthly plane, you know what I'm saying? Take what resonate, leave what don't, because some people don't, believe in reincarnation. But from my experience, again, you may have had, so many traumatic experiences with sex that in order for you to heal in this lifetime, it's best for you to stay away. Like you getting your understanding through abstaining or staying away from it. But whatever it is, I know for sure, because even like laughing at an analogy with that, like facing ourselves. And I remember somebody bringing up a story of the difference between cows and buffaloes when a storm is coming, so if a storm is coming from this way and going this way, they're like the cows would try to outrun the storm. So the cows will feel the storm coming and keep going this way, not realizing that they creating a situation where they're going to keep, like the cow dies 1,000 deaths, where they going to keep trying to run from the storm, you know what I'm saying? Well, it's going to seem like they're going to be running forever because it's going to keep moving that way, you know what I'm saying? They keep running, it's going to keep moving. But it's like the buffalo run towards the storm. You know what I'm saying? And by running, so the storm going this way and they going this way, they'll end up, the period of them experiencing that storm going to be shorter than the cows because they going through it. And again, and that's another aspect to the short term, long term. It's you're going to have to face some level. It doesn't mean you force yourself, life is hard and you got to make things harder than it is. No, that doesn't mean that. At the same time, we do go through resistance. There's going to be some resistance on some level to whatever it is that you're aligning with, you know what I'm saying? Just like lifting weights, there's going to be some resistance. And again, it's you could face it or you could try to run from it, but you're still going to have to face it regardless, you know what I'm saying? There's certain aspects of of doing things in this realm that again, it has to be faced. Can't keep running from it from that perspective. But again, just bringing it back to the short term, long term aspects, it's certain things and certain things that within the long term that you want to get done, you know what I'm saying? But again, the short term part of us is just looking for that instant gratification, looking for that shortcut, looking for a non-patient way of doing things, and I realized for myself that, that's where it comes in for the importance of focus and just a level of focus and discipline, You know, focus and discipline, you know, but definitely again the discipline. You know, and not discipline again from no extreme, because sometimes discipline is making sure that you schedule having fun. You know, that's a part of discipline, you know what I'm saying? Is making sure you're having fun, and whatever fun is for you, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody's aspect of having fun ain't the same, you know what I'm saying? But and again, just seeing a lot of integration work, you know, as I'm seeing also, like I think about the American Gods, the last episode and the last part of the comic books, where it was like the gods coming together in essence, you know, and like looking at, you know, through YouTube, seeing, you know, shout out to Brother Rich, you know, having that video with who was Panic, Dr. Phil Valentine, and Billy Carson, you know, having them all together, you know what I'm saying? And then I saw a situation, shout out to Killer Priest with his podcast, and him squashing some beef with Nori and drinking champs and stuff like that. And I'm like, all right, I'm just kind of peeping back and just seeing the process of integration, because again, it happens inside, then outside, you know. And again, like, this is a dream world, so everything, you know, that you experience in the physical is also like dream symbols, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could say, oh, I just saw a squirrel and it was just me seeing a squirrel, but at the same time, a squirrel represents a certain energy, so you seeing that squirrel, you know, even if you wasn't quote unquote dreaming in the sense with your eyes closed, you know, within the astral planes, you know, within this, in the dense version of the dream world, or aka within this realm, or, you know, perspective of reality, you know, it's still a dream symbol, you know, nonetheless, you know what I'm saying? It's still giving forth some type of evidence, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's definitely, again, like a constant expression, you know, and I was probably about to bringing up that to shift into a little bit like what I've been reading the Carl Jung. I finally finished that book, A Man and His Symbols, you know, and one of the dream symbols that you know, it was this guy named Henry, and he was going through, you know, self-realization dreams and stuff, and basically like the book was like, you know, going through the analysis of his dreams and stuff, and he basically was going through the process of individuation, but, you know, since he was a male, you know, he was dealing with his subconscious perspective of the anima. You know, the anima is like the deep feminine aspect of the subconscious for men, and the animus is like the deep masculine subconscious aspect for women, you know. But as a matter of fact, finishing off that book pointed out to basically a lot of my psychedelic experiences, and just a lot of my experiences on my spiritual growth, you know, dealing with women for sure, you know, and like why, like, you know, just basically like seeing that animus-anima relationship, you know what I'm saying? But oh yeah, with that process, because again, I was talking about Killer Priest, you know, and Nori, you know, that little coming together, and then Brother Rich having that little video, but just seeing again like the process of individuation, and again like the inner work is personified externally in our actions. Like the whole reason for somebody being able to come together and do certain things is because they done dealt with some type of inner work inside that allows for them to, you know, connect externally, you know what I'm saying? Because otherwise, and just look at the proof in the pudding of, you know, just looking at the process of a person's, you know, growth of wherever they are, as far as like if they're being like a teacher, or they do certain artwork and stuff like that. But seeing like the collaborations through the years or lack thereof, but just again like a constant process of individuation. But bringing it back to the book, the guy Henry in the book, he, in his last dreams, to kind of personify that he had reached that point of like everything, he was integrating his anima, or again like that divine feminine aspect, that primordial mother aspect, in essence, into his consciousness, or basically again like integrating the unconscious and the conscious mind, or unconscious, aka some people say subconscious, but basically integrating the subconscious and the conscious mind. In that last dream, he had saw, and again, this is a Carl Jung book, and it's not for any excuses, but just because it wasn't bringing it up in a derogatory way, but it was like he came across a Negro, came across a black male, quote unquote black male in the book, in his last dream. And the black male was symbolizing like, him. Matter of fact, he saw this black male in an area of Switzerland where it was like very snowy. And, within the book, they was just breaking down like, it was snowing because it represented the old aspect of Henry's consciousness of being like rational and cold. Like he was cold and rational and kind of just overly masculine towards the subconscious. And so the snow represented that energy, and then the black male represented like the dark unknown, and they even said that in the book, like like the relationship of white men with black people, or black man in general, was kind of like the conscious to subconscious relationship, with a conscious mind. And I brought that up a while back, and that goes to show you again like how this stuff already just in tuned in us. In a lot of cases, books just kind of performing confirmation in essence, or providing confirmation, I should say. But yeah, in that last dream, he came across this black male, and then his dream kind of went out for a second and came back in, and he was at a house where the black man lived, and him and a friend had to gift him something when they made it to the house, and basically that was a personification of like gifting his unconscious or his subconscious mind, like basically like showing love to the darkness of his mind, of his consciousness, aka to his subconscious. And again, like within this realm, and I always speak on that, like on human levels, there's for lack of a better word, melanated being, or people with more melanin, people with less melanin, people with neuromelanin. But again, like there's melanin in beings who don't really show it on the skin level, that's just facts, so it's different levels to it. But again, with it not even just being on no person level, again, as above, so below, as within, so without, it's like a bodysuit, and very dark skinned people would be a representation of like melanocytes in the body, or like actual melanin particles in the body, and not necessarily a race of people, but a literal personification. Like if you stick close to the law of correspondence, in the laws of the universe, or the 7 hermetic principles, however you want to express that, but staying close to that energy, it helps for you to just keep things in perspective, without getting lost in the duality from a human perspective, because it is like a school, I realize, and continuously growing and not allowing for ourselves to go backwards in my, like, because even with myself, like, not going backwards in my understanding, just to sound normal to those who may not be that far on their growth. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, I definitely don't want to be on no turning backwards, completely, and turning into like a pillar of salt on some shit. Definitely don't want to do that. What's up, everybody? I'm just running it. But yeah, just again bringing it back. I was talking about the American Gods and the collaborations I've been seeing on YouTube. Just seeing like again like it's now or never for like squashing a lot of petty little bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Cause here it is. You know what I'm saying? Where again the inner work reflects outwardly as I stop treating my inner realm as if I got enemies, because again it only seems like we got enemies through a lack of understanding. Like, of course, the part of me that could harm somebody seem bad if I treat it that way. You know what I'm saying? If I treat like I would never harm anybody, that cannot be me. Well then, and as I say that, like, realizing how real our imagination is, like right now too, is like, like, for one, just staying tapped in with the creativity and realizing how real our imagination is, and matter of fact, and how much we all are in essence stepping into the unknown in some way, form, or fashion. You know what I'm saying? Nobody has all the answers. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much like a lot of us may be confident in knowing what we came to do in our lifetime and soul purpose, but from my experience, anybody who know it all, you know what I'm saying, definitely want to just walk the other way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have it all figured out for all of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Knowing exactly what's gonna happen on all levels, but then you sitting right next to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and as I say that, because another thing I don't want to do, I don't want to make no little jokes in the sense of like from a derogatory sense, because we all on our growth. You know what I'm saying? We're all constantly learning, and I think about like how I've been able to learn due to information being presented in a non-biased manner to the best of the person delivering that information's ability. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate when things could be presented in a non-biased format, or just making sure the air is clear with expressing things, where if I do joke about something, like at the end of the day, we all constantly growing. And it's not to knock nobody, because I realize how the pendulum swing on that level too. 1 minute you joking about like how somebody is, or these people are like fraudulent on their growth, or these people this and that. You know what I'm saying? And the tides could shift. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you get into a place where, if you're not careful, you're doing it from an ego perspective of like trying to belittle somebody else. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if that person ain't shit, and if they that much of a fraud or whatever the case may be, their hand gonna get exposed. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we don't have to be the hand to deliver the blow. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just something I be doing my best to stay in awareness of right now, for sure. But yeah, it's definitely again, and like right now, You know, it's like that balance awareness, not sticking our head in the sand, and acting like what's going on around us is not going on, because that's something, I realized too, is like, staying optimistic, but preparing for whatever could, happen in essence. But understanding that, in that preparation, also realize how much that preparation has to deal with your own, capabilities and your own perspective of the now moment. Because I'm realizing so much right now how much is like, where it's just so many subjective truths. In one case, you got, and again, like, cause you see, and that's why I'm at with it too. That's why I don't like too much even talking about certain shit that be on the news, and that's all I'm gonna say. Is because it just helps perpetuate that shit. Like, and this is just me, and again, not gonna get on no pedestal and try to knock others who do inform about things of this nature, because I do see, again, where, information and truth about certain aspects of health, let's just say, is very insightful, because I'm gonna still have those posts from time to time too, but it's like, if I'm claiming to be such a powerful being, and what I focus on grows, and it's all about my imagination and things of this nature, then why would I ever give any focus, to constantly looking at a problem? Like, I just need to glance at the problem, and then now my focus just needs to be solution, you know what I'm saying? And as I say that, again, like, saying it from, not like talking at everybody, because that's something I hold myself accountable, It's like, but just being aware is like, shit, if my mind is that powerful, and, and what I'm doing is that powerful, then, maybe I need to be, again, like, paying attention more to my inner work, more to solutions and answers for myself, and understanding myself. And then with the clarity of understanding myself, it'll give me a clarity of what my mission is in this lifetime, which will allow for me to be whatever it is that I'm meant to be within this realm. And again, when I'm that clear and have that much clarity, I have nothing else but to be a beacon of source energy, So whatever I do is going to be in alignment for the highest good for myself and others, through that inner clarity. Because I realize, man, like, don't try to rush to save others, like, there ain't no such thing as time. And as I say that, yes, there's a level of, you came down here to, complete a certain task. But, from what I'm peeping, it's like, just trust, it's just like trying to rush, like, where a person try to rush through, you've been driving and you see somebody keep trying to pass all the lights or run through all the lights, but then probably after so long, you saw that person pass you up, and then eventually you get to a light about 5 lights down, and that same person that was speeding through all the lights, or shit, they right on side of you, like at the same light, about 5 lights down, and you were moving at a quote-unquote slower pace, and they was getting it, but still ended up right on side you, just in that example, but again, just tapping into it, through your own understanding, and again, through the self-love aspect, cause I can't give anybody something I don't have for myself, and what I've been seeing a lot lately is from how much, and it's a balance, it's like doing the self-care and self-love, and then allowing myself to have social experiences, so I'm not like super like locked in, because even now, like I'm not in the guarded in a house, or locked within four walls, you know what I'm saying? Because even seeing now, like shit, ain't nobody all on top of me or none of that, you know what I'm saying? So allowing for that experience. But where was I? Again, like not shit, and that's what shit get real too with the programming and stuff like that, like being aware of like what I've just been constantly checking down on too, is like just making sure that I'm not running off of a certain programming, or I'm not doing things because of a certain trigger, because without realizing it, you might see that, I'm just throwing something out there, but you might see a pecan tree, and every time you see a pecan tree, you get triggered into thinking about the summer of 19 such and such, or just some type of situation, and you're triggered into operating like how you were whenever that moment happened and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? And just, just having that awareness, because again, with a lot of these movies and stuff like that, it's just a lot of confusing programming. So a lot of truth being put in a lot of these movies and shows that's coming out right now. I ain't gonna lie, a high level of truth, but at the same time, it still has programming mixed in it too, you know what I'm saying? So just having that awareness to not get caught up in the unhealthy programming of a lot of these things. Nope. So that's another thing, man. Like, how could we call this realm a simulation, or a matrix, or any of this? And hey, I'm more than just human and this and that, but then be taking shit so serious, not tapping in with our imagination, so it's almost like paradoxically defeating the purpose in essence, It's like, hey, be childlike and stay fully present in the moment, but, worry or be aware about this, about such and such on the news and this and that. And it's like, and again, we all doing our best from where we at, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely again tapping in with the short-term, long-term aspect, and just discipline, discipline and focus, because I realize, like, for one, more and more, no matter what situation is presented to me, always understanding that I, is called law of attraction, not law of somebody else creating my reality. It's called law of attraction. It's called I am attracting certain things to me. You know what I'm saying? And again, hence why it's about getting to, again, learn about our subconscious and understand what's going on in our subconscious in our inner world, because again, there's certain shit that we might be attracting, and we're like, oh no, that can't. And which in some cases it may not be, a straight up, again, like some situations you manifest or attract, it may not be an exact reflection of you right now. You know what I'm saying? It could be a past reflection, future reflection, or again, or an aspect of your subconscious that you're neglecting and it's coming up. You're neglecting, again, like a shadow aspect that you're neglecting, and it has come up internally to be like, hey, look at me, or I'm here, and you're still ignoring it. So it shows up in a person, place, or thing, to really like show like, bro, look, no matter what you do, you cannot run from me, in the sense I run from doing this in the work. And again, like that process of integration and unconditionally accepting ourselves and understanding ourselves, because again, it's not as much as I done spoke on with psychedelics and having ego debts, what I'm saying, it's more so about understanding the ego and not trying to kill it, what I'm saying. But again, like right now with that discipline and even with procrastination, like seeing the balance in that, in the sense of like procrastination does have wisdom to it, and at the same time though, like again, like now is the vibe break, what's popping off right now, because even I made that comment about like any of that apocalyptic talk is either coming from either a fearful place of the the past aspect of self, like fearing that changes have to come, or it could be that super disconnected from your body aspect, to where you're so not from earth, to where you kind of just like, oh fuck it, I don't give a fuck about what happens type of energy. But either way it goes, like there is a shift of energy. But just think of it like this, it's like what's been happening is just continuously intensifying, you know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna continuously see a shift where more of us are gonna become more aware that, hey, we're more than just humans on, humans on a having a spiritual experience, but we're more so like souls or spirits having, a human experience. And for me right now too, like just understanding, breaking out of that religious perspective, seeing how it was still sneakily hanging around in the essence of like, like seeing how, with the law of correspondence, as much as I tap into the law of correspondence, I had to realize like, all right, and I was aware of this on some level before, but just still like really understand, because again, you could hear something and regurgitate it a few times, but you still don't really see it or get it on that level, you know what I'm saying? But just like how, again, as above, so below, as within, so without. What goes on in this realm goes on higher levels, you know what I'm saying? So as much as one may feel like certain energies don't exist in a higher plane of existence, yes it does, it just exists on a different level. Again, as above, so below. What goes on in the stars or the heavens goes on below, and vice versa. Again, either that, or we could say that the laws of the universe are a lie, and fraudulent, But I mean, from the perspective of it, the law of mentalism, law of polarity, law of rhythm, law of correspondence, law of gender, law of vibration. I don't know if I said them all, but again, like they're proven to be true. So message for sure though is just like the discipline, and then realizing that, you know, we want to be, you know, not only being aware of the short-term aspect of self, but also the long-term aspect of self, you know. Like, yeah, going out and eating all kind of expensive meals and stuff like that is cool. The short term, you gonna love that shit. Gonna love that shit. You know what I'm saying? But the external, I mean, the long term aspect of you is like, again, like, you know, while you're enjoying that stuff, it's like, oh yeah, and then after that pleasure is gone, it's like, you know, it's like crickets. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because, you know, it's now long term you sitting there standing like your mama at the door, you know what I'm saying, with her hands on the hip, like, you know what I'm saying, patting her feet, like, you know what I'm saying, like long term, like look at this short term me, you know what I'm saying, full of all kind of little instant pleasures, you know what I'm saying. You know, but again, it's like, because you spend that energy on that short-term instant pleasure, and again, now as a vibrator, if I keep doing that, you know, it becomes, you know, it becomes my now, which becomes my future. You know, my future is predicated on just, you know, instant gratification. We definitely don't want to have just instant gratification, you know, build up for the long term, you know what I'm saying? Because even with, you know, doing my YouTube channel and all that, you know what I'm saying? And that's another thing too. I realize, you know, being aware of just the many changes to come, you know, it's like, all right, you know, I feel the essence of like the internet possibly getting tampered with. So again, it's like I don't want to have just everything that I do based on the internet, you know what I'm saying? Like I want to have, like, you know, if I do make music, I want to be able to have like records, you know what I'm saying? I say if I do, as I'm continuously making music, you know, I would like for it to be on records. That's word to my brethren Jazz Bandito up in here. He's just popping up in here. Matter of fact, holla at me, bro. Just send me a text. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, like having something tangible, you know what I'm saying? You know, that's probably why I didn't go so, like, as much as it did kind of come up on my radar a little bit. You know, because even being aware of that, like, you know, like, is this becoming on my radar because of it's just so in the collective as far as, like, dealing with the cryptocurrency and shit like that. It's like what happens when the internet crash, or if the internet happens to crash, you know. You know, then what happened to all the little crypto bucks. Like, so again, it's just like, and again, to each his own for yourself and what you're doing, you know, because that doesn't mean, like, all right. Because that's, again, like, that doesn't mean, like, oh, well, just let me stop fucking with the internet completely, you know. Which, you know, in all honesty, that's another thing that comes up, again, too, is just, like, always tapping in with, you know, your internal technology. You know, it's that balance awareness with anything. You know, again, like, artificial intelligence, I treat it just like doing integrity work internal, you know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, you know, if water and sunlight got a positive and negative, it's the same thing with artificial intelligence, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, again, it's like having that awareness that, you know, certain parasitic antagonists would like to see the world more operated by this type of technology, because not only it stifles our internal technology, tries to, let's just not word magic and give it that much power, it tries to stifle our inner technology, you know what I'm saying? and again, by promoting it, you know what I'm saying, again, like, people become more dependent on it to the point where, you know, your internal awareness, you know what I'm saying, you know, won't, again, like, you'll be super dependent on computers and stuff like that. And that's what, you know, again, where things get tricky, you know. 'Cause even with what's his name, like Elon Musk, bringing up about his little robots and joking about like how they're only set to being able to walk or run at 5 miles per hour, so just in case they, you know, flip out, you could get away. He kind of like joking about that shit and shit like that. I ain't gonna lie, like, I kind of like, it's so, like, the human part of me is like, you know, like the part of me that would like to fear certain situations. Definitely, it's like, damn, bro, like, really living in a world where people could make jokes like that. We're dealing with robots now. Like, this shit is really, you know what I'm saying? Well, the fact that he's able to even do a video and do all of that and speak on it means that, because that's another thing too, shit ain't never changed, you know what I'm saying? It's like, we're shifting stuff, but just still be aware, you know what I'm saying, like, to make sure that we're creating solutions continuously, you know, because that's another thing too, you're only as good as your last moments, you know what I'm saying? Because even for myself, you know, I watch myself try to, like, you know, I done did a bunch of videos on YouTube and this and that so I could chill, you know. It's like, this shit, you know, chilling is like, you know, for lack of a better word, it's almost like transitioning. You know, and not like, like, you can't chill, you know, or take a vacation, or, you know, but just in the sense of, like, you know, resting on the loins of, like, I done did a little something, so nah. In which, again, you can chill if you feel that you can chill. If you feel like, what I done is enough and I could live off of what I done, then, you know what I'm saying? But if you know you're bullshitting yourself when you say that, then just keep it real and, you know, keep doing what you gotta do. But yeah, breaking down that ego for sure. Again, like, back to with the collaboration, you know, because as I'm doing my little, you know, inner work, just seeing too, you know, like, collaborating with others. But again, that happens with understanding ourselves to the fullest, because we might be trying to go to collaborate with certain shit, but we not fully aware of ourselves and the direction we're going in and how we want to do it. And then that'll, you know, again, and that'll cause confusion or conflict if we try to jump into working with people when we still figuring out certain things within ourselves, you know. Hence why I find myself, you know, being in that balance of, you know, like, yeah, I make sure I'm to myself and doing my inner work, you know what I'm saying, but also not to the point of extreme where I'm, like, isolating myself, because also, again, like, being aware of that. And that's the aspect, too, with that artificial intelligence shit that, you know, you want to be aware. Again, it's no good or bad, right or wrong, and not to look at AI, because, again, it ain't about the artificial intelligence, it's how people is using it, you know what I'm saying, but like how we could become desensitized to each other by just dealing with each other on the internet. It's like you could develop an energy of not caring about people's feelings, and, you know, where individual is, you know, no different from like a robot, just because you're only interacting with them like a robot, you know. Because again, like I it just, it's like, all right, just to stay on, you know, doing these videos and just being myself, you know, being sourced on the human experience, coming down here, expressing things through my gifts and through what I'm, you know, innately great at, you know what I'm saying? Because when I see commercials of the little dating programs and like, oh yeah, this is the best way to get to know somebody, I'm like, man, the fact that they had it as a commercial, meaning it's like, you know, some people still may believe in that type of shit, but I know what's up, you know what I'm saying? Now it's a vibrate, y'all. Peace, peace.